dear students. Today we are going to discuss about human brain. Human brain has three parts. First one, forebrain. Second one, midbrain. Third one, hindbrain. Forebrain, otherwise called prosencephalon. Prosencephalon. Midbrain, otherwise called mesencephalon. Mesencephalon. Hindbrain, known as rhombencephalon. The forebrain consists of two parts. One is cerebellum and another one is diencephalon. In the last class, we studied about forebrain. The cerebellum has a two hemisphere called cerebellar hemisphere. Cerebellar hemisphere. This cerebral hemisphere is present in the largest part of the brain. Internal region of the cerebral hemisphere consists of limbic system. The components of the limbic system are olfactory bulbs, cingulate gyrus, mammillary bodies, amygdala, hippocampus, and hypothalamus. These six components are present in the limbic system. The limbic system is known as emotional brain. It is called emotional brain. Because it plays a primary role in the regulation of pleasure, pain, hunger, sexual feelings, fear, and affections. These are controlled by this limbic system. And this amygdala and hippocampus also play a role in memory. Next, brainstem. The brainstem is located in between diencephalon and spinal cord. The midbrain located in between the diencephalon and spinal cord. It consists of three parts. One is midbrain, pons orally, and medulla oblongata. These three regions are coming under the brainstem. The first one, midbrain. The midbrain located in between the diencephalon and pons. The last portion of the midbrain has a pair of longitudinal bundle of nerve fibers that is called cerebral peduncle. This cerebral peduncle relay the stimulus back and forth between cerebellum, pons orally, and medulla oblongata. In the dorsal region of the midbrain has a four rounded bodies that is called corpora quadrigemina. It also acts as a relay center. We can say the reflex center. It acts as a reflex center for vision and hearing. Reflex center for vision and hearing. The next one, midbrain. Next one, cerebellum. That means we can say the midbrain or otherwise called the cerebellum. Next, hindbrain. The hindbrain is otherwise known as rhombencephalon. Rhombencephalon. It consists of cerebellum, pons, medulla oblongata. The cerebellum is the second largest part in the brain. Second largest part in the brain. It has a two hemisphere, that is called the cerebral hemisphere. In between the two hemisphere, there is a worm-shaped structure is present, that is called vermis. This cerebellum coordinate with the muscular movements and maintain the or regulate the body equilibrium. If cerebellum is affected, it leads to the uncoordinated muscular movements. Pons varoli. It is located in front of the cerebellum and between the midbrain and the medulla oblongata. Midbrain and the medulla oblongata. The nerve fibers formed from the pons varoli form a bridge in between the cerebellar hemisphere and connect the medulla oblongata with other parts of the brain. This pons varoli has a respiratory nuclei. Respiratory nuclei. It coordinates with the medulla oblongata and control the respiration. Next one, medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata. It is a last part of the brain. It is a last part of the brain. This medulla oblongata connects the spinal cord with the other portion of the brain. It carries the stimulus from the spinal cord to the cerebellum as well as the thalamus. Cerebellum and thalamus. It controls and coordinates with our brain body. That means it is one of the major part of the brain. It is a major part of the brain. It controls and regulates the respiration, gastrointestinal tract, that means regulate the secretion, gastrointestinal secretion, and control the cardiovascular function. Next heading is ventricles of the brain. The brain has a four hollow space that is called ventricles. That hollow space is known as ventricles. The C-shaped hollow space is present inside of the cerebral hemisphere. Cerebral hemisphere. That is called lateral ventricles. These lateral ventricles has two types, 1 and 2. Because there is in the cerebellum two hemisphere is present. So the two ventricles are present in the cerebrum, that is here first and second ventricle. It is otherwise called the lateral ventricle. These two ventricles are separated by the septum pellucidum. The two ventricles are separated each other by the septum pellucidum. These two ventricles are open into the third ventricle. The third ventricle is located in the diencephalon. This first and second ventricle communicate with the third ventricle through the one opening that is called the foramen of Monro. Foramen of Monro. Or interventricular foramen. Interventricular foramen. This third ventricle open into the fourth ventricle. The fourth ventricle is located in the hindbrain. The third ventricle open into the fourth ventricle through the duct that is called the aqueduct of Sylvius. Aqueduct of Sylvius, or otherwise called the cerebral aqueduct. Cerebral aqueduct. Next, choroid plexus. Choroid plexus. These choroid plexus are group of the cells. It has a network of the blood capillaries which is found above the ventricles. These choroid plexus are secreting the substance that is called the CSF. CSF means cerebrospinal fluid. Cerebrospinal fluid. Per day it is secreting 150 ml in the brain per day. Its circulation, that means its volume is 550 ml per day. The spinal cord, that means the cerebrospinal fluid, is doing the different type of the function. That means significance of the CSF. The first one, it provides buoyancy to the CNS. CNS means central nervous system. It provides buoyancy to the central nervous system. Second one, it acts as a shock absorber. Shock absorber in the brain and the spinal cord. It nourishes the food. That means it nourishes the food to the blood cells. That means brain cells. The food are oxygen and different type of the food. The CSF nourishes the food to the brain cells. It carries the waste products, that is harmful waste metabolic products. Harmful waste metabolic products from the brain to the blood. It maintains the pressure. It maintains the pressure inside of the cranial vessels. Inside of the cranial vessels. These are the significance of the CSF. Next, spinal cord. The spinal cord is long, slender, cylindrical nervous tissues. It is protected by the vertebral column. Protected by the vertebral column. It is covered by three membranes. Dura mater, arachnoid membrane, and pia mater. As a brain. because brain also covered by three membrane as same durameter, arachnoid membrane and pyometer. Like that, the spinal cord also covered by the three membrane, durameter, arachnoid membrane and pyometer. The spinal cord extends from midbrain to first and second lumbar vertebrae. This last part of the spinal cord has a long shaped nervous tissue, that means long shaped structure, that is called the cauda equina, that is known as horse tail. It looks like a horse tail. Because of its appearance, it is called the cauda equina. Now we are seeing about spinal cord, that means cross section of the spinal cord. Cross section of spinal cord. The cross section of the spinal cord has two indentation. First one, posterior median sulcus. Second one, anterior median fissure. Posterior median sulcus and another one is the anterior median fissure. The last region of the spinal cord has a two part. One is the outer region, another one is the inner region. Throughout the length of the spinal cord has slight variation. The outer region consists of white matter, the inner region consists of grey matter. But in the brain, the outer region is covered by the grey matter and inner region is covered by the white matter. But in the spinal cord, the outer region is covered, that means white matter is present in the outer region and grey matter is present in the inner region. The inner region of the spinal cord has a butterfly shaped part. In the center of the grey matter, there is one canal is present, that is called the central canal. This central canal filled with CSF. CSF means cerebrospinal fluid. The grey matter contains three types of the cells. One is neuronal cells. Neuronal cells and their derivatives. That means and their dendrites. We can say dendrites. Second one, interneuron. Third one, glial cells. These are present in the grey matter. The white matter consists of nerve fibers. The white matter contains nerve fibers. So, the center of the grey matter has a central canal. The center of the grey matter has a central canal, that only called what? Central canal, which is filled with the CSF. The grey matter divided into three parts. One is the anterior arm and posterior arm and lateral arm. This anterior arm, that is a anterior arm, or otherwise called the dorsal arm. We can see the anterior arm is otherwise called the dorsal arm. That looks like a arm shape, so it is called the dorsal arm. The posterior arm is otherwise called the ventral arm. Ventral arm. This dorsal arm contains cell bodies of the afferent neuron. Dorsal arm contains the cell body of the afferent neuron. Afferent neuron. The ventral arm contains cell bodies of efferent neuron. Efferent neuron. The reflex nerves and smooth muscles and cardiac muscles, these are originated from the lateral arms. These lateral arms and the dorsal arm and ventral arm, these are present in the grey matter. That means grey matter only divided into three parts. So next, white matter. This white matter has a two part or two regions. One is ascending tract, another one is the descending tract. This ascending tract and descending tract. ascending tract carries the sensory stimulus. Carries sensory stimulus from the spinal cord to the brain. The descending tract carries the stimulus from the brain to the spinal cord. Brain to the spinal cord. That is it. Descending tract carries the stimulus. That stimulus are called the motor stimulus. That is called the motor stimulus. Ascending tract carries the sensory stimulus from the spinal cord to the brain. Descending tract carries the motor stimulus from the brain to the spinal cord. This spinal cord has a two enlargement. So like this. In the neck region, one enlargement, and hip region, one enlargement. The neck region has a enlargement that is called the cervical enlargement. Cervical enlargement. The hip region has a one of the enlargement that is called the lumbar enlargement. This cervical enlargement regulates the upper limbs. The lumbar enlargement regulates the lower limb. Lower limbs. In the next class, we will discuss about the reflex action and reflex arc. Thank you.